Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel or welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a book haul for you guys. I have not done a book haul in a little while and I have acquired some new books that I am super excited about and I'm excited to share them with you. But before we go ahead and get on into the haul, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button as well as giving this video a like to throw my channel a little bit of support. Some of these books are new releases and some of them are backdated, but the first one is Hexed by Emily McIntyre. This is her newest release. I have read 4 of her books. She is a dark romance author, and I walked into Books A Million one day and I saw this and I was like, first off, that cover is absolutely beautiful. It is so pretty. It's definitely my favorite cover of her book so far, and I didn't even know that she had published a new book, so I snatched it up. I do have reviews for Scarred, Hooked, and Crossed by her, so I'll link those up in the cards if you guys want to check them out. This is part of her Never After series. All of these books can be read as a standalone. In this book, we're following a character named Vensa, and Vensa's parents died. She's an orphan, and after their death, she was taken in by her gangster uncle. She is very loyal to her uncle, and one day her cousin, who ran away a long time ago, returns and brings a guy with her. By day, Enzo is a wealthy businessman, but by night, he is the boss of one of the largest mafia syndicates of the underworld, and he also is very loyal to his father. His father one day tasks him with marrying, kind of like an arranged marriage, and Enzo agrees, but this is before he has met Venza. So now the two of them are having to navigate this forbidden love as well as the crime underworld in which they are involved to see if they can find their happily ever after. Next, I picked up The Graduate by Naomi Novik. I got this from my used bookstore, and this is the second book in her Scholomance series, the first one being A Deadly Education, and I still have not read A Deadly Education. The reason I felt comfortable picking up this book is that I have already read Naomi Novik's work before, and I really do like it. I'm going to be honest, I really don't know much about this series. All I know is that it is a dark academia that involves magic, and the school that our main character goes to is deadly, and she kind of has to fight her way through this school in order to become part of a secret society or to gain her powers or something like that. Naomi Novik is definitely a beautiful prose writer, and I've heard good things about the series, so I'm excited to have the second book and finally dig into it. Next, I picked up Wisteria by Adeline Grace. This is book 3 in her Belladonna series, but in this book, we are following Blythe, which is a different character. And I don't really know how this story fits into the second book because I haven't read it yet, but I just want to commend how beautiful the covers of these books are. They're some of my favorites. The colors, the illustrations of the women on the front, but then on the inside, we have beautiful, beautiful end pages. And then the covers are all very similar as well, and it has a quote on the front. They're just quite beautiful books, and I really like having them. I think there's end pages in the back too, yeah. Upon reading the synopsis, it sounds like Blythe has been married. I don't know to whom, so I guess we'll find that out in book 2. But it sounds like a marriage that was more out of convenience than love. But something happens, and Blythe has to decide if she wants to trust her new husband, and sparks start to ignite as they learn to love one another. And Blythe learns something about herself in the midst of everything that's going on. I don't really know, like I said, how this connects to book 2. Book 1 was full of magic, full of whimsy, and our main character did have magical abilities. I don't think Blythe does, but I'm really not sure. So I'm excited to kind of dig back into this world and see where the author is taking the story. Next, I picked up Two Twisted Crowns, which is book 2 in the Shepherd King series, and it follows The Dark Window, and I haven't yet read The Dark Window, so I'm kind of surprised that I decided to pick up book 2. But I keep seeing this book over and over, or the series over and over online, and I hear just awesome things about it. And I hear that it has one of the most unique magic systems out there right now, which is kind of piqued my interest. So when I saw this at my bookstore, I decided to just grab it. In this world, we are following a girl named Elspeth, and Elspeth lives in a mist-locked kingdom, and it's kind of like a curse known as Blunder. One thing that's unique about Elspeth is that in order to stay safe, she has a monster protect her, but this monster actually is inside of her head. One day, she meets a strange man on the highway, and she learns that it is the king's own nephew who is wanted for high treason, and he is trying to get together a resistance-type group to cure this kingdom from this curse, this mist. this evil. Elspeth decides to join the king's nephew and finds herself drawn into a world of magic, politics, and deception. I'm actually very excited to read the series. I do have high hopes for it, so maybe I can get to it in 2025. Next, we have The 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. She is a YA fantasy horror author, and I have read 3 of her books, and I have really enjoyed every single one. And I did manage to pick up a signed edition, which is exciting. I just want to take a moment to appreciate the inside cover of this book because it is stunning. I could seriously just put this on my shelf without the dust jacket and be totally satisfied. In this book, we're following a main character named Hazel, and she is the 13th child in her family. As such, she has been promised to the god of death. One day, the god of death arrives to take Hazel away, and what she's learned is that he is offering her the gifts and abilities as a healer, and she is able to conjure the exact cure that a patient needs at the exact time in order to heal them, but unfortunately, her magic does come with a price. Hazel has to comply with the god of death, meaning that whenever he has targeted someone to die, she has to go in and ease their suffering. Because of this, she is haunted by the ghosts of those who have died underneath her hand. Hazel's destiny one day takes her to the court of King Leopold, a rakish king who disdains everyone and everything. Death has marked Leopold to die, but as Hazel begins to get to know the king, she realizes that this might not be the right choice. She has to decide if she's going to go against her destiny, go against death himself, in order to save a king that is not always very honorable. I'm very excited to read 13th Child. I think it will definitely encapsulate everything I love about fantasy horror. Then I decided to pick up When the Moon Hatched by Sarah A. Parker. And ironically, I was talking to a friend of mine from high school who I never see because she lives in a different state. So I only probably see her every couple of years. And I saw her in September and we were talking about books and she mentioned this book and I added it to my Goodreads TBR. And I honestly had never heard of it. And this is a fantasy romance that is wildly popular apparently. And then one day I went into the bookstore and I saw these special editions. Not only this, but they also had the regular mass market paperback. And I was going to pick up the mass market paperback. My husband just said, no, just get the nice one with the sprayed edges because it's a really pretty book. But I just want to share with you guys the end pages really quickly in this book because they are quite pretty. And unfortunately, there's no cover art. But in this book, we are following a main character, and I'm not really sure how to pronounce her name. It looks like Fior, maybe is how you pronounce it. But she is an assassin, and one day she is captured by a bounty hunter and finds herself imprisoned by something known as the Guild of Nobles. The Guild of Nobles is ruled by Fae, and they decide to turn her into a political statement. And then we're following a character named Khan, and from my understanding, Khan led a rebellion and took over a kingdom and killed the king. One day his political duties do take him down to the prison where he finds our female main character, and the story kind of goes from there. The synopsis really doesn't give me a lot of implication about what happens between the two of them other than a potential romance, but it just makes it sound like we have two different sides, enemies to lovers type story, but I think there's a lot more to it, which is why this book is so popular and so acclaimed. So like I said, I'm excited to get into a new series, new author, and let me know in the comments if you guys have read this. All right, y'all, that is it for my book haul. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these books and what you thought of them, or some new books that you acquired in the month of October or November. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in another video soon. Goodbye!